Hi everyone, we had a great question come in on number 87, so this was coming from page 70 after the first 1.3 lesson. So this question is about domain names, and so it's asking when it comes to internet domain names, is shorter better? And so according to a ranking of websites, this was back in 2008, top 8 sites by number of hits are listed here, and it says that these familiar sites certainly have short domain names. Now the histogram below is showing the domain name length in number of letters, not including the extension .com or .org. And this is for the 500 most popular websites. So I'm going to make note of that here, that these should add up to 500 altogether. All right, so in part 8, it wants us to estimate the mean and the median of the distribution. So here's how we can do that from a histogram. Let's think about the mean first. We're thinking about the mean number of letters for these different domain lengths. And so if we take a look here at the first rectangle, that is telling us, if we look at the frequency, it looks like the length for 10 of our websites only has 2 letters in it. And so if we think about adding up all of the letters together, 2 letters for 10 websites would be a total of 20 letters. And we're going to continue that for each one of these. So if we take a look here at the next rectangle, that would indicate that about 40 websites have a domain length of 3 letters. And so 3 letters multiplied by 40 websites would give us a total of like 120 letters for that part. The next one here looks like it's just a little bit above 40. So I'm going to estimate that to be about 42. So it looks like 42 websites had a domain name length of 4 letters. So we'll do 4 letters, multiply that by 42. Now, it's a little bit tedious, but if we continue that process all the way through, I did the steps here, and on the last one, I estimated that to be about 3 websites that had a domain length of 17 letters. I'm going to end up here doing 17 times 3. And that ends up giving me a total number of letters to equal 3,504. Well, then what I'm going to do there is go ahead and divide by the number of websites that are represented here, which is 500. And that's going to give us a mean of approximately 7.01 letters. And if we take a look at where that mean is represented on the actual histogram, that's going to be right around here, where that little arrow is. Visually, that seems to kind of look like the center or the balance point of the distribution. So that's what the mean is representing. All right, now let's talk about the median. So the median, we know that if we actually had access to these individual data values, if we were able to list them out in order from least to greatest, the median is going to be the exact middle value. Another way to think about interpreting the median is that it divides our data set in half. 50% of the values are below the median, and another 50% of the values are above the median. So knowing that we have a total of 500 websites, we want to look at our histogram here and just determine where we would have 250 websites lower or to the left, and then where we would have 250 websites higher and to the right. And so what I'm going to do here is just start to look at the height of the rectangular bars. We're going to be adding up the frequencies to see if we can get a value that is around 250, or at least figure out where that would fall. So I'm going to start by looking at the first frequencies. We saw that before. That was about 10. The next one was 40. And then we have 42. So if we add those up right now, we're at 92. So we're going to keep going because we want to see where the first 250 are. Where's the first half? So taking a look at the next one, this one was about 58. So that's going to get us to be at about 140 150, sorry. So we were at 92 and we added 58, so we're at 150. Well, if we look at the height of this tallest one, this is a little over 100. So I'm going to say that that's about 105. Well, if we add that 105 frequency to the 150 that we had before, that's going to get us to a total of 255 websites are represented, and the exact halfway point is going to be at 250 websites. And so that means that that 250th value is going to be somewhere right here in this bar. And what that bar is representing, it's representing websites that have a domain length of 6 letters. And so because of that, we know that our median is going to be in that location. So our median should be 6 letters. All right, so I actually just went ahead and labeled both the mean, that was about 7 letters, and then also the median of 6 letters on the graph. So let's take a look at part B. If it says, or it says here that if we wanted to argue that shorter domain names were more popular, what measure of center would we want to choose? Well, in this case, it would be best to choose the median just because the median was lower. So a lower value could help to support the claim that a shorter domain length is better because the median is only 6 letters. Now, another thing that we can notice here is it looks like the distribution is slightly skewed right. It looks like we have a little bit of a tail on that right-hand side. And so remember, we talked about when we have skewness or if we have outliers, median overall is a better choice because it is not affected by skewness. It's not affected by outliers. It can give us a more accurate description of our center.